The dogs think that the humans are babies, and they are the parents. And if they are the parents, then the babies are absent. And when the babies are out, they don't know how to care about them. Babies shouldn't go to hunt. Babies shouldn't go to mark the territories. It should be opposite.
Right.
Because
that makes a sense why then it's like when you talk about it being a burden to them, it's a lot of pressure for them because they're trying to parent, but they have no control over where their babies went in their mind.
There you go, because that's what because they are left when the group doesn't have a structure that's natural, like natural structure, whatever natural structure for the group means. The most important, what means actually natural structure? What's the order of the group that has a leader? Yeah. And that's the most responsible one for the survival. And the rest of them gonna, make that content and make that group move on if led somewhere. That's the most important. So, and then when we are missing the leader, then the dog is taking that position naturally, because if the leader is absent, then the group can survive without a leader, even though we survive. But then the question becomes like, if we are leading the life and the way we do, if we really stick to the role of leader, and then we know to remain in the relationship we belong to remain in a job we belong to, we are leading our life, we are leading ourselves, navigating through the life, then we can lead anyone.
Yeah, but for the dog to
lead ourselves, we can be leaders to our dog, and then they fail to recognize the leader. If they fail to recognize the leader, naturally they're gonna feel that position, and then this drama starts. Because before you ask a little more question for clarification, or make me say this little clearly, I want to remember you that last time I told, and I think that's very nice, it just came to me, the remembering that actually what happens to the dogs is that the dogs are forever wolf puppies. I don't know, do you remember that? I would think we discussed that. That's why they are so cute. That even if you have a dog that's old, like 5 years and 10 years, in his little eyes, he still looks like so cute. He might have a gray kind of like hair, and you might see him being old, but the expression of the dog, it would be, oh my God, it's so cute. I would just cuddle with him. That's why they're trapped in that perception of the world, like they are puppies. And what our puppies are missing always are the parents, the leaders, the alphas, the representatives who are going to take them through the life. And that wouldn't change no matter are the dogs like five months or 5 years or 15 years. They're going to always remain puppies, and the people are going to need, because they need to feel the role of the parents.
But when you say they remain puppies, like they feel in that puppy role, or that they're projected upon as a puppy because they look so cute, that's
what the evolution, that's what allowed to evolution to happen, right? What happens there is that more you become cuter and less aggressive, easier would be for you to get the food from the people rather than from the mother and the father. Right. So let us, and that's how that separation of the wolf and the dogs happen. The tame ones were able to get closer to humans. And more tame the wolves were, and more cuter they were, the humans were going after those. So that natural selection started to happen, and the wolves that were looking cuter being nicer, because that's what the Benayev experiment showed. So that's what actually happened. The evolution happened that the dogs kind of remained the puppies forever.
Because that is the way to survive.
In the way to survive, because they are not dependent on the wolves anymore, on the mother and the father to bring the kill, and then they now depend on the humans.
So now when they're at home and the human goes away, they're anxious because if they don't feel like the human is their leader, they feel like the human is out there and they're not able to protect them. So every time
they won't be able to protect themselves, so they need puppies to be next to them. And that's why they're frantic, and they are like completely in panic that something gonna happen to the parents, to the babies actually, and they won't be there to protect them.
So when they come home, they're like, because they're, oh my God, they came home. Thank God they came home.
Yeah, but then the question becomes, what did they do until the parents didn't came home, babies didn't came home? Because that separation anxiety has a lot of symptoms. They might pee and poo all over the place. That's again a signal. I'm peeing and pooing all over the place because I want to leave a signal for my babies to be able to smell the way back to the home. And then we come home and then punish them. But they said like,
so they could even think we're lost.
Yeah, they're thinking we are lost. And then don't know. We never know how the dogs would actually cope with that anxiety of babies being lost.
Yeah, babies being humans, they're humans.
Yeah, the humans are babies. That's because the roles are switched. Now the babies go to hunt and the leaders stay home, and that's not natural.
That's not natural. Yeah. Okay.
Can you follow? Is this?
Yeah, I totally follow. I'm reiterating the words for people watching because babies, just reminding everybody that right now we're talking about puppies seeing their humans as their babies.
Yes,
and they feel like they have to take care of them. And so when they leave the house, anxiety comes because I don't know where they are. I don't know how to protect them because they're gone. Yes. And all of these things start happening because the roles are reversed.
Yes. And then how do you get rid of that?
Yeah.
Again, rituals. Because the rituals are helping you regain the position that the dog gonna finally relax and say, thanks God you are taking care about me.
Yeah.
How are you gonna prove them that you are taking care about them anyhow? What's problem is emotional entanglement and a position to distance ourselves from dogs and then do what's right? And that's feeding ritual, reuniting and leaving and reuniting and play ritual. And
I forget leaving. I remember coming home, but how do you leave them?
You just go out, because that's not a drama. That's a problem. Oftentimes we leave the home or we go out like, oh, I'll come back, stay here. Here's a little, mommy is gonna be back, just talking to them. And when you are talking to them, you are actually doing exactly what they're doing when they are leaving and they are anxious of leaving, right?
Yeah.
What they're doing, let's just come back so we see the mirroring of our behavior to their behavior. So when you take a leash out and your dog is reactive, so when you go out in a walk, then your dog is pulling or your dog is jumping on the other people or barking on our dogs or have problem with the cows or chickens or whatever. So he's all over the place. So we choose to take a dog in those kind of circumstances on the walk, and then we take a leash, and the dog immediately starts, getting hyper anxious, we would say happy. The dog is getting happy, right? He likes to go to walk. What the dog is actually doing is building up the level of adrenaline. He's going in that frantic state in order to build up the hormones that they're gonna need for the purpose of going out. Okay. The purpose of them going out is not to pee and poo. The purpose of going out is to hunt, to mark the territory, or to protect the territory. So when you are taking your dog outside, you are not taking the dog to a walk or to exercise. You are taking a dog to work. And that's why it's so frustrated for the dogs to go out, because they need to be ahead of the danger. And you never know what the dog's gonna pronounce, what's gonna be a danger in the dog's little mind. It can be a humans, then the dog become human aggressive. It can be dogs, then the dogs become dog aggressive. It can be chicken, then they become chicken aggressive. Whatever they in their mind, they structure, oh, this is a threat for the group, they're gonna attack it. And then we're gonna say, oh, I don't know how to do, I need to disconnect his attention, I need to desensitize. No, that's not what you do. You don't desensitize the dog's behavior. You take over the leadership position and you say to him, you don't do that. That's my job to do. Yours is to follow And I'm going to take you whenever you want. So a very important thing is don't take your dogs that are reactive to the walk. They don't need the walk as from our perception. It's for them.
I know, that's pretty huge. That's
Again,
pretty
we need to
huge.
repeat that over and over and over because the people are guilty of taking the dogs for a walk of 3 miles and 5 miles.
But that's what they're taught. I mean, that's the culture. I think, again, that's a thing that can be unlearned because it can be a burden to the owner, but they feel like they need to do it because that's what we've been taught. Your dog needs exercise. Your dog needs to get out.
Yeah, that's why we are feeling guilty of not doing things that we don't need to do. It's fake. It's a projected guilt.
Yeah,
it's a projected.
Somebody along the line started teaching people that that's the right thing to do for their dog. So I mean, you have well-meaning dog owners being very diligent to try to walk their dog at least twice a day.
Yeah, but you know why they're gonna be? There is a logical link to that. When the dogs come back from the walk, they are tired and they're going to rest and sleep. And you know why? Because they're overwhelmed with the work.
You know,
and this is physically active. If you're going to bring them home from the walk, a test. If you're going to bring them from the walk of 5 miles and you get them in and they lay down and finally kind of fell asleep because really they are tired, but they're going to still follow you to the bathroom, follow you here, follow you there. If you start playing with them, jumping them, dropping them the ball, running away from the hide and seek, or engage with them, they're gonna start doing it like they were not seeing the walk at all. So they are mentally and physically exhausted. It's not something that they go for a leisure. They're exhausted out from the work.
I get it. I'm
sorry.
I'm pointing it out to everybody watching because it's something we've been taught. Like we've been taught this over and over again. And I noticed it with my dog Izzy when I was in a, she's really small. So, when I moved to a place that had the yard, a bigger yard and like stairs and the whole thing, I'm like, oh, we're playing. And I watched, I'd play fetch with her and do everything. And I was like, do we really need to go for a walk? Like,
no, you don't.
Intuitively, I felt like we're good. She's good. I'm good. But I still felt this guilt. Like I'm somewhere in there. That's what I'm supposed to do. And like, I'm doing something wrong by not taking her on a walk. So this is so freeing because it kind of gives you permission to trust your gut with your own dog.
Yeah, but you find how many people reject this, and they would even confront me on this and everything.
Yeah.
And they would oh, they are Dobermans, they are this, they are that, they need exercise, they need this, they need that. No, again, it's like when you have. Let's remember a kind of, even if you are born to be athlete, born in an athlete family. For example, your mom and your dad were a great athlete and your parents are athlete and everyone is athlete, or let's also go to a lawyers. Let's go something more dramatic, like skill kind. So you have this loyalty to a lawyer position, and you have this generation of the family where everyone is lawyer. And then if someone is not lawyer, then he feels guilty of not being a lawyer. He's a black sheep of the family. He's not doing things. And he just didn't want to learn those skills that are genetically, maybe there is a predisposition. If you keep on these skills, you're going to become, and you have much better possibilities than someone else. If someone else is born in an athlete family, might have a better possibilities to develop skills. But if those skills and our responsibility is in this environment to have those skills locked within the dogs, the same way we locked their testosterone or their estrogen by doing the castration and sterilization of all kind. So now I keep telling that. You can't be generous to a nature of the dogs when you take them to a walk because you want to enhance their natural skills or natural tendency to work and do something, where actually 3 months before now, because we were told that we can go to the pet shelter or pet whatever party or park or whatever if our dog is not castrated. So we go against complete nature of the dog. It's kind of
okay, but you kind of lost me. I'm going to be honest.
No, I didn't. Maybe I lost myself.
You lost me a little bit because I got what you were saying.
Until
so
when?
So we go back and we say like it's a husky.
Okay.
And a husky is bred to be a work dog, to be able to pull a sled, to be able to do those things.
Yes.
But now in our world,
and we are talking about the world, let's say 20, 50 years, 100 years.
Yeah. So we take the husky into our home, and we think because it's a husky, we have to go for walks because it needs to work. It needs to get this out of its system. It needs to do this thing. And what you're saying, this is where, correct me if I just to make sure I was following, that you're saying like a walk is not the same as pulling a sled. A walk is not the same as what a husky innately did. So even us trying to stimulate or emulate some type of work through a walk, it's not the same. So it's stressing them out, and it's not providing what we think that we're providing for them.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is right. I just need to correct a little bit there.
Okay.
Because the dog would naturally, regardless of breed, the dog as a species would go to walk from one place to the other only for 3 reasons: to hunt, to mark the territory, and to protect the territory. That they would do if they are stray dogs, and that's what exactly are wolves doing to this day.
Okay.
Wait here. That's now the transitioning is important.
Got it. Okay.
They would do that in order to get the food. Now, the humans created a deal with the dogs, and they said, if you sled for me, and be husky, and then you are Doberman, and you all develop all of these skills, you do this for me, and I'm going to provide the food. But that's not the language of the nature. That's the language that the human invented in order to exchange food for trade.
Got it. Yeah.
When you remove the food, when you remove the trade from the picture, then remains the pure essence of the nature.
Yeah.
Walk is only to provide, mark the territory, hunt. And protect the territory. If you don't go to hunt because the food is provided by the humans, what's the purpose of walking?
There is none. I get it.
There is none.
Yeah. And so you're not doing them any favor. Like they don't need to go do that for exercise.
No, there is no need for exercise.
The better is to play with them. Play with them.
That's what we need to do, and that's what we fail to do, because a lot of time we are taking dogs to endless walks where we are moving from one end to the other, and then we bring them to some dog parks and we let them play with the dogs. What they are doing in the dog park, again, they are establishing the hierarchy. They are not playing. The only one the only one how you can say that the only one thing the dog would like to play with are the members of the family. Is you. And your husband and your kids and your dogs and other dogs of the family. That's the only thing. Because
my dog hated the park.
That creates a bond.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes so much sense. So, okay. So then my question is this. In just the natural curiosity of health, cardiac health, like all the health, bones and whatever, so do we need to provide them that kind of opportunity to be able to run around and play with us and do things like that just for their general like movement and breathing and...
Of course, because, the being out in the air, being exposed to a sun and to air, and to places like that is actually very important for digestion, for the synthesis of a lot of minerals that are, naturally found in the food. But in order to extract them and to integrate them in the body, you need the sun, and you need the air, and you need the oxygen. So going out from the home, of course, the dog is not a cat.
But the thing is, just to remember that it doesn't have to be a walk and it doesn't have to be the dog park. It just the best type of exercise is playing with you.
Playing with you wherever that is.
And your family, your
if that's a backyard, it's great. If you need to drive somewhere to have some place where you're going to play with your dog, do that. If that's a dog park, try to be there when no one is there. Yeah. Because other dogs, you will oftentimes hear this kind of, my dog loved this dog, and then that dog loves that dog, and when we go there, they play forever. It's just because every single dog park and every single one of the people that has a dog's experience, the dog fight in a park is inevitable. It's not that won't happen. The question is when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't escape. That's the nature of the dog. You can't avoid a fight in a dog park. The question just becomes how much your dog going to be injured. That's what.
That's why Izzy hated it then, because she's only 4.5 pounds. She's like, get me out of here.
And everything else, like dog sitting areas, like daycares and the boarding facilities, all of that is if I would need to run any business and I need to kind of like have a pet sitting business and whatever, I would always question one thing is a liability, not in how much money and how you're going to pay if damage happen, how you're going to survive that emotionally, because it must happen. It's not question if you have a pet sitting business or you have a daycare or you have a boarding facility. It's not a question, will the fight of the dogs happen? It's going to how often going to happen and which consequences of that going to be. Why? Because the dogs are always tend to create a structure of the group. And since they don't have a time value of the time, because they are always present, they don't know that they went in a park for 2 minutes or 15 minutes playing with the other dogs. They think that the group expanded.
Okay.
And then they want to create another structure of the group. Can you follow that? So that's what the park is. It's not, they are not playing because they love each other.
No, I get it.
Because they want to create the structure of the...
Right.
The moment the structure is created, the dog lay all over the place and you can see them laying. Oh, they get tired. But then just until someone else doesn't come. And then you have someone goes or someone comes and the new drama starts again because the group is not the same anymore.
Yeah, and that's like you said to me, like even if you're a guest in a house, they don't know you're a guest. So they're like, now you're a new person in this whole group. So now I have to figure out how you fit into all this.
Maybe they're looking for, finally a leader possibility. And that's why they're going to challenge the guest usually the most. They're going to, they won't challenge him. Like maybe it would be like, coming and jumping on you, or, bringing you toys to play with you, or barking at you. That's not kind of, he needs my attention. No, it's a literally challenge game.
Yeah.
Where they just want to see how you're going to react, what will be if they do this, what you're going to do. And then they're going to immediately work their little brain around where to fit you with the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
And then once that's settled, the dog goes and lays. And then you suddenly leave. Now you leave. And then again, the new structure comes. Oh, now we are 3 again. And let's start now again.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That gives you empathy for the puppies or the dogs, because you're just like, their world's always changing because they're not really sure what the dynamic is. And that's their turf.
That's their biggest problem. The human world changes on a daily basis. And the dogs are pretty much doesn't mean nothing about how do you get them that they're used to be fed at 5 o'clock and get to the walk at 10 o'clock, and how do you put them on a ritual? Pavlov got a Nobel Prize for explaining that. It's very simple. If you continue to impress certain dynamic of the behavior impact from outside, it's going to occasionally turn into a unconditioned behavior. So conditioned behavior, I'm feeding you at 5 o'clock and I'm taking you at 5 o'clock outside. Why they are jumping at 5 o'clock if you're going to take them outside? It's because their hormonal status starts to change at 4:30. Because they are preparing themselves. If they know that you're going to take them out at 5, why would they start getting up and raising the hormone for the adrenaline to get out and walk?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have them anxious at 5 o'clock. What you need to do is just break that circle. Because the Pavlov also explained that if the conditioned behavior turn into unconditioned behavior. And you remove the primal stimuli, so you don't enforce it anymore. The unconditional behavior tends to gravitate to whatever new conditioned behavior become, or tends to come back to its natural state. So, for example, if we feed the dogs, again, just to put it here because maybe it's easier to understand, when you feed the dog all the time at 3 in the morning or 5, let's say 6 in the morning or 8 in the morning, and then you feed them over excessive period of time, they're gonna start producing a saliva and producing acid in stomach. 15 minutes before or half an hour before. If they don't get the food at 8 o'clock when expected, they're gonna vomit. And then you go,
and so many people leave their food out, which is not good for them either. Like you need to set it out, they get a certain amount of time to eat it, and then if they don't, you take it away.
Yeah, and then you are not also, you have a freedom to that, and that I always advise, choose different times of feeding each during the day. So you are the leader, because the leader always makes what are we eating, for how long we're eating, and when we are eating. So those decisions are the leader. And if you tell them, okay, today we are eating kibbles and it's 7 o'clock. Tomorrow we are eating cooking things and it's 5 o'clock. And then the day after tomorrow we are eating ribs and it's 3 o'clock. He follows. The dog doesn't ask questions.
So he's not like, I'm not like this, I'm not going to eat. No. But he might be if, and then he'll learn if like this is what you're going to get and whatever I give you. And you can make the choice whether you eat or not.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
I have another question though, because I think this is a big one. So separation anxiety, when you travel, like I had to travel for work, right? Every other week I had to leave for like 3 or 4 days. That's a really hard thing to figure out what you do with your puppy when you're in that situation. How do they know how long? Because you said time is kind of like they don't understand time. What are ways? I know optimally, if you have a partner and the dog can stay in the house, that's best. If you don't, if you're single and you don't have a partner that can take care of that, then the next best thing would have someone come in your house to take care of your pet.
In-living mate or in-living pet sitter. But it's very important for them to follow the rules. They, now you bring someone that if you do the rules and rituals and everything, and you make your dog be perfectly behave, and now and you followed everything, and now you have someone for a week or 2 or 3, they can easily switch everything back to, because if they're not leader to a dog, that they're gonna make a mess to a dog. So you need to have a very trained leader of the dog that you're gonna trust, that they can care about your house and your dog, because that's the right way to do. It's not a boarding kennel. It's not a daycare. It's not nothing. If you need to travel, it's an in-living person that you can trust, that can follow the leading rituals. So he can just replaces the leader while you are absent hunting, like maybe 3,000 miles away.
Yeah. So is there anything you do or say or don't do or say when you're going to leave for 3 to 4 days or whatever?
No, just not. No,
you just leave. You
just leave, because in the dog mind, what changed? Nothing.
Okay.
It's the same.
And do they know that we're gone for that long then? They don't really know we're gone for 3, 4, 5 days.
But they don't have an essence. They don't have a time. They don't have an.
I know. This is why I'm asking, because it's not to you. It's like no. Duh, but to us, it's like it's a mystery. You're like, how do I? I've heard somebody say like you should tell your dog you're gone for 3 sleeps or 3 nights.
Oh. And then dog need to count to 3, and then he knows that.
I don't know. This is what I'm saying. This is why it's funny, all the things you get told when you become a dog mom. It's like,
I get that.
And then they're supposed to know that helps them know that you're coming back at closer to that time. So like, it's just
they
nice.
Don't care. We are because they only what they care about is a group.
Yeah.
The group need to be led by someone, because the survival of the group depend on, that's why the family constellation system and family constellation therapy was so natural to me, because I do understand the systemic work of how the group operates, how the system operates, in order to make balance in everything. And then oftentimes what we can see is that oftentimes in this hidden dynamic of loyalty, the individual of the group can be sacrificed for the benefit of the entire group. The system doesn't care, and the individuals within the system doesn't care. The only thing what's important is survival. The more you get away from this human consciousness, more you in tune get to this simple survival existence need of one individual within the group. And then if you leave your dog with someone that can be a leader, the group survived. The dog will be provided, protected, and led, no matter by who.
If not, they're anxious and unsettled and burdened while you're gone.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's what I was thinking when I was with my partner formerly, and I left to India. Izzy started peeing in the bed, and she'd never had done that before.
She was calling you
me to come home.
That kind of thing might happen. So if you have someone pet sitting for you and you are gone for a longer time, you can expect the dog can pee and poo in the home. And that's why, because they want you to find their place. So they might experience anxiety.
It makes so much sense.
And that's it. Once they're aware that you're not coming home, and they are protected, led, and provided by another leader, they're gonna accept them in the best possible way. And when you come home, again, you come home. That's very important. Again, you come home like you was away 1 hour.
Okay.
It's not important. That's hard for us, not for them.
For them. This is so good. So come home just like that. It's been an hour. So you're not like, oh my God.
Yes.
You're just like, hi. And then order is restored.
Not even hi.
Well, yeah, you just stand there, whatever, let them settle down. And then you, whatever, pet them and stuff after they've settled down. But just to remember in their mind, every time we leave and go, it's
a separation.
And they're reorganizing the leadership in the pack.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really helpful.
We have a lot of rooms. We have a lot of doors to close. Yeah. Because again, you need to put yourself in their shoes. They don't know how long we were gone, even if we were in toilet, right?
Right.
And they don't know, did anything happen to us when we were gone? And that's what they want to be sure that nothing happened to us. And if we keep talking to them and communicating back to them, oh, mommy's here, don't worry, do this, do that. What you are telling them actually is that there is some anxiety, worrying. You should worry about me because I'm coming back with a story.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. All that energy is like worry energy instead of just matter of fact.
Because we are talking them.
I'm back.
Because we are talking them out from place of guilt.
Yeah.
I feel guilty, so I need to explain myself. And they sense that. And no leader is guilty for his actions.
Yeah.
If you don't like this, sometimes.
But I can see where this gets into emotional entanglement, which is another episode. But I can see why that gets crossed then, because why do you need to cross the drama? Why do you need to have them need you or like be like, oh, they miss me, they need me. Like then it's about something else, not so much about you leading your dog.
Yes.
Oh, so this is going to be interesting to that'll be fun to get into.
We have a friend staying with us here. So the dynamic of the group is not the same as it was when she's not around.
Yeah.
So we went out with a little Henny, as we always do, to the beach walks, and we let him run.
They let you do that unleashed there?
I hope no one from the community gonna look this episode. So I guess.
Okay. No, that's nice. That's good. You can.
Because it's kind of like I kind of like run there with him and then play with him with the sand and things like that. So we kind of have our little rituals there. But we raise him literally to be very kind of little independent puppy and dog that doesn't, when you call him comes, but he is not interested in other people. He never goes to the other people. So he's kind of like very, very group oriented little doggy. So we went out another night, and then usually, he runs like along the beach. We start that, and then he goes a little longer way. So it was dark, and he's like has this little dark, how you say that, black head and white coat on the. So you don't see him actually. He blends in the sand and he blends in the dark. So actually you don't see him. So I was kind of like, we were walking and going, and now I see he's not around us. And then the veteran said like, oh, he gonna lose himself. We're gonna lose him. And I said like, yeah, maybe if he thinks there is some better place for him to be, he's welcome to go. And the moment I said that, next thing you know, he's around our how you said, our legs. And that's very good also exercise, how you can save your dog is when they run away from you, you need to run the opposite direction. You never chase your dog. You can't because that chasing, it's always game of challenge. And oftentimes I have literally this advice: save the dogs from running under the truck or going out to the street. Because if dog runs one direction, the only things what he will look after is, are you following him? As long as you follow the dog, he gonna run away. And the dog has 4 legs, like we are much.
Why do they keep running away?
Sorry?
Why do they keep running if you're chasing them?
That's a challenge issue. Okay. Will you run after me? Because I'm taking you wherever you're going.
Human relationships. Oh my gosh.
So what you need to do is actually
don't chase anything.
Turn your back and go another direction.
Wow. I mean, the metaphors, Sasha. We talked about this last week, the metaphors of like the handsome, cute thing and that can be manipulative. And this is like another metaphor of like, you don't chase things. Like,
you don't chase nothing because there is nothing to be chased. If he don't like it, how it said, that was, I think, I don't recall that name, but it was, now I need to confess that I watched the movie. And this is the one.
The Secret, The Law of Attraction?
No. This was a soap opera. It's
even better. This is
great.
Demi
Moore and Matthew McConaughey. I think it's no, it's not. Maybe it's not Demi Moore. She need to spend a night with $1 million guy, and he gets, and she did. I don't know what's the name of that.
Oh yeah, Michael Douglas and Demi Moore.
Oh, Michael Douglas was he? There you go.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And then the movie starts with the guy or the girl looking at something. I think it's some present that they got, and said, if you want something really bad, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours forever. If it doesn't come back, it was never to begin with.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's us really trusting that.
Yes.
That keeps us all free and choosing each other.
Yes. If you don't trust your dog, that's because the dog doesn't trust you. If dog doesn't trust you, you don't deserve the dog.
Deep. That's good.
And that's where oftentimes when we practice and we want to exercise the dog that are pulling on a leash, one way to do that is, among the other that we teach in our classes, is how to do that. Oftentimes switching the direction. Soon the dog pulls on the leash. You stop and you turn the other direction. So the dog say, oh, and if you do that, let's say in 5 minutes, you change the direction every single time the dog pulls, and then you stop, you wait the dog to kind of release a little bit of tension, and then you move the other direction, and then you move again.
Like opposite?
Again. Wherever, left, right, straight, forward.
And what's happening when you do that?
But the dog gonna get, oh my God, I can't predict where we are living, where we are going. How should I pull? Where to pull?
And why are they pulling, Sasha?
Because they want to protect us. They want to be ahead of us because they want to protect, and they're gonna decide what the danger for us is.
Okay.
Is it a dog, or it's a human, or it's a chicken, or it's a cow, or it's a vehicle, whatever.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of pressure then. Like, you think about that if we're going for a walk, that sounds awful.
That's what I said. The first thing.
I know, but I mean, like, the more you embody what their experience is,
But you remember what was the first suggestion when the Happy said that he barks on the dog? I said, stop taking him, stop putting him up for the failure. You know he's gonna fail. You know he's reactive, and you keep bringing him back to the same environment, thinking something else gonna change. Nothing gonna change.
But again, Sasha, it's like people needing to understand the experience of their dog, so you have a good relationship, and not this. You know, because we do this to ourselves, but it's like you can see like them getting kind of like pissed off at their dog for not behaving better and wanting to force the behavior, and then thinking there's something wrong with the dog because they're not performing the right way, instead of stepping back and thinking, what is my dog trying to tell me? What's the experience my dog is having, and adjusting from that point of view. That's a big shift.
That's where the training never gives results. You're going to have a trainer that will help you fix a problem. And then in 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 1 month, 5 months, the same problem gonna come back, or something else gonna happen. You're gonna call the same trainer because he fixed it last time.
Yeah.
And he gonna fix it again, and he gonna fix it again, and he gonna fix it again. But the symptoms gonna just keep changing.
Well, no, but this makes a lot of sense, because when you understand, I'm gonna sneeze because I just. Sorry.
Bless you in advance.
A second almost, but not. But when you understand what the dog's behavior, what's going on with them, it's such a better relationship.
Because it's a communication. That's a problem. They don't have a language. The only way for them to say, to tell to us is the behavior. So if we compress the behavior that we don't like, but training, they're going to explode somewhere else, and we're going to compress them. Then this is going to be
totally makes sense. That's what we do too. Like when you suppress emotion, it manifests another way. So why would it not be the same in our dogs?
I guess like that's the easiest way to understand it, because that's what we are because all of this what we are doing, the training of the dog is coming out from that old world that doesn't exist anymore. We used to train the dogs to develop their trades, their skills.
Yeah.
To make them sled harder and faster, to run and be better in their job. But now they're not doing job anymore to the humans. Right. They become a best friend to a human. And best friend is there to be for you when you need the best friend the most. And now we have some emotional relationship with them. Not a trading, not a skill trading relationship. We don't need trainers anymore, because every single trainer is taking the essence of the dog away from the dog.
Unless you have a dog that's like a blue heeler, like a herding dog or a hunting dog or something like that.
If you want to take a dog to some traits or that, like
but there's very few that do that. Most dogs now are our best friends, our companions.
Because again, you come like, why do you need a dog to do things you can do without a dog?
Yeah.
It comes like, again.
Yeah, makes sense.
But also on the other thing, that's why do we need the humans now to perform what the AI can do without you, right?
Yeah.
We are living completely, and the companies make very rational decisions of laying off all of these people because we need to think about company, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not an emotional relationship to that. Every leader is doing what's best for the group. If the group is a company, then the good leader gonna protect the company, even if that's mean laying off thousands of people.
Right, and that is why our like 3 primary things for survival is love, safety, and belonging.
Yes.
So that belonging to a group is still critical to our survival, even though we've created a very individualistic society.
And then it always comes like, is it a love? Because the love oftentimes can kill us by being only in love. We don't because the love is outcome of very precisely not like a responsible and respective way of communication. And that requires a lot of discipline, that you don't say always what you think, because it might hurt someone.
Right.
Someone you love.
Well,
right? In the essence of, am I telling this to someone else because it bothers? That's exactly what I can see in you bothers me in myself. And rather than as you pointed out perfectly when you said, we need to step back. We need to step back. It's not like always running, okay, this didn't work, let's see something else, run after money, run after career, run after fixing the problems. And you never actually come to the point of where you actually step back, step here, no more forward.
Right. Receive.
I need to open inner eyes. I need to internalize. I need to see myself, no matter of the consequence. I need to see myself from within.
Yeah. And, it's huge. It's huge. And I was just talking to my friend last night, and we were walking her dog, actually. I'm going to tell her about this because her dog was pulling on the leash, like tips to do. But we're talking about that, like if you're always going, that's like a doing action. It's a masculine, right? Like force. But the balance of that is to stop back, because you can't like catch anything. You can't receive anything if you don't stop. If you're always like going this way, you can't receive. And like in the case of our dog and stuff, you're trying to understand, like you do need to step back just to be able to catch what they're trying to throw you, so to speak, in their behavior.
And as you said, like answers are within. And then when you hear the answers, you shouldn't feel guilty because you felt your Easy didn't love long walks, or she didn't love parks, or she just, wanting to cuddle and play with you because she was a 2-pound Chihuahua. And then, it was much easier for you to understand that than to someone that has a husky.
Yeah.
And you might, but still you get feeling guilty. And soon you feel guilty for not doing a mainstream projected things in the world that doesn't exist. Yeah. The training world is based on the Pavlov experiment. And the Pavlov experiment was always proving that if you blackmail someone for something, he's going to turn it into an action. And that action has a consequence.
Yes.
It's a physiological change.
Yeah.
It's a radical physiological impact. It's a radical impact of the outside world on a physiology that's irresistible.
Right.
You can't resist epileptic attack when it's happening, but you can prevent it 3 hours later. 3 hours earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When it's happening, the only thing you can do is survive.
Survive it. Yeah.
Now survive it, and let's see tomorrow what to do. But if we're just gonna casually wait, nothing gonna change.
Right.
And it's as beautiful as was laid out by my mentor, Vlado Ilic. He said nicely, nothing is as it's supposed to be. Everything happens as an outcome of our doings and not doings. Everything we do or don't do impacts the way it's gonna be. And nothing is as it should be. Because everything is a consequence of our doings and not doings. Isn't that cute? Isn't that amazing?
Well, I get the part that everything is a consequence of our doing or not doing, but everything is not as it should be, or is as it should be as a consequence because.
No. Anything is not, how you say, nothing, nothing is as it should be. Because oftentimes we say, oh, it's going to be as it's be. Oh, we don't have an impact to the. Yes, we do. Because we are dropping, the butterfly effect. When the butterfly flies in the Fairfield, Iowa, the volcano starts in Malaysia. So everything impacts everything else. And that's like nothing is as it's supposed to be. Everything is a consequence of our actions and not actions, and everything will be the consequence of our doings or not doings. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And in this particular context as well, the dog problems not gonna just vanish, and we won't be able to enforce anything but doing wrong and repeating wrong actions, expecting different outcomes.
Okay, so I think this is a great segue then for us to talk about the emotional entanglement piece next week. Because I think the separation anxiety thing is huge for us to understand, because it is very different than what we're taught. And this is so helpful to understand what the dog's experience is, so we can approach it differently. Like how we come back, how we arrange when we're gone. I think there's still a question about like traveling with them, because I know some people
travel with them normally, because who cares? The leader, we follow the leader.
Yeah. So that
on Alaska or on Hawaii or in a palace or in a,
and they're fine.
they're perfect. That's where they are. The dog likes to be on the feet of their masters.
Yeah.
That's
so,
where.
okay. Perfect. I traveled with Izzy all the time. I mean, because it seemed better than she seemed to like it better than me arranging her to stay at home. So again, this goes back to when I stopped listening to, I mean, it was a little too late, right? But when I started listening to my intuition with her, it did go better. She was better. It was happier. But it was against what people told me to do, which was confusing, right? And then now this has been so helpful. So, I mean, Izzy's not with me anymore, but like when we separated from the pack, when I broke up and left and we kind of reestablished our dynamic, it's just so interesting now to think of like what her experience was and how that works.
Now you know better to prepare yourself for the next puppy when it comes, when the and it always will happen if the need of your systemic healing and the journey is in need of someone else, and that someone else cannot be represented by the human but by the dog.
And that's how they come into our lives? Oh wow, isn't that cool?
Because they always come as a and that's again like very nice intro in the next week episode.
Yeah,
the emotional entanglement. They always come on our cross paths in the life, and then we either turn to a family, friends for support, or we turn to a resource of unknown existence, and then it's represent itself to a dog. Maybe they come to us in the different forms like humans, or the system always balances itself. We always have a chance to turn to someone in order to get this support, to go through this extensive primal emotions experience that's always when we are going through these sources of uncertain time and crossroads through the life, we always end up experiencing these deep primal emotions that are always bringing us to a next level of our growth, right? But in order for that to happen, we need to have an adequate and responsible resources of support from the community around us. That's what obviously and oftentimes is not, because we are all, grieving together. Oh, poor you. Oh, nothing gonna happen. Oh, I first time I saw that guy, I knew you shouldn't get with him, and I wanted to tell you. And then they kind of takes us out from that. We cover all of that pain and grief that we should go through in order to grow and not to repeat the same situation again and again and again and again. But no, sometimes this happens because that's easiest to cope with. The circumstances are the way, and then we turn from best friend, and then the dogs come, and then whatever goes out from there.
So our responsibility, like in being conscious, because this is again the segue to next week. When we are conscious with our relationship with a dog, why they're coming into our family, we can talk about they leave, whatever, but when they come in thinking about this, but if we're struggling with a certain piece of something, then we get to look at what the emotional entanglement or attachment or something that we might be projecting or doing, and you can help us with that through the constellation thing. But next week we can talk more about it. But that's a really cool thing because
the family constellation is a perfect tool of understanding the system, right? How the system puts a group itself, like a system on its own, cares about the function of the system is the survival of the family. So that's only thing what need to happen. And oftentimes, because of no matter what, the system gets out from balance. And when it's out from balance, tends to balance itself. And while balancing, sacrifice the individuals for that to achieve. So now we have, maybe I'm an individual that goes through that experience. I'm taking a burden of my family in order to help family balance itself. And that's kind of very vague, me trying to explain it, but then I lose myself, I lose my identity, and I become a trauma, I live experience of the trauma that brought a system apart. In order for system to heal, we need to recover. We need to see the trauma, the experience from the safe distance, understanding that's gone, it's past, it's created the present as is. And now from here, we move forward and we create by doing it and not doing it.
Right.
And the dogs come in order to help us balance the system, because sometimes is impossible to do it alone. Because oftentimes the dogs literally save the life of someone, like they did mine when I was back young boy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's for me, this dynamic of emotional entanglement, it's so obvious that I can't understand the people don't see it. But I lived within like for 30 years.
Yeah.
And when I understood actually it's not the common knowledge. It's not a common understanding of the relationship. It's not mainstream. The training is mainstream. The oppression is mainstream. The impression and embedding of obedience is a mainstream. Then that's how I actually started to talk about that. Not that I have a language capacity to do that. And thank you so much for jumping on these calls and being a safe and helpful resource to translate all of these that I try to communicate with the people. If you can understand it, and then you say differently, and you take me back and reiterate it and things like that. So I see your help, and I really honor your everything. Also. You and Vedran, I must say as well, because he's also the backbone of everything we do.
Of course. And I just want to say though too, like I love being here. I love doing this with you because again, you have such a deep knowledge and expertise of this that I think so many people love their dogs so much and just don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And any way that I can help, ask the questions that are more like, it feels like, I don't know how to say it. It was like, you like have done this so long and you have such knowledge about this that it's like up here. And I'm just trying to help be a catalyst for all of us just newer into understanding this way of communicating to help it land, because everybody wants to. I mean, I think most people want to do the best by their dog. We just haven't had the right information and the consciousness of knowing how to create this for our dogs, and then understanding how we're responsible. You need to be a leader, but you're told a leader means doing this, when that's not actually the way the dog feels like you're a leader. That's like really groundbreaking. And then, knowing that we might be calling a dog's coming into our life for a certain reason, and we might have emotional entanglements with them that we're putting onto them or burdening them with,
completely. And that's
not just being
completely
aware
unconscious.
of that.
Don't think about that you did that because you decided, and now that you can go through that process yourself by thinking about that. It's always what you need to have there is a support. That's why this family constellation always includes the constellator. It's nothing more than just a witness that actually help you witness this environment around you. And all the work is actually done by you.
Yeah.
You remember we had it, right?
Yes, I know. And I know we're going to talk about this next week.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it more. But the little intro for everyone watching is when we did because you met Izzy. Izzy was sick. We did a family constellation, and beyond my dog, beyond Izzy, seeing how I was taking on, just like Izzy was taking on burden, I was taking on burden from my family unconsciously. And it's like, once you see that, then you can have a choice of what you do with it.
There you go.
But you really can't do anything until you become conscious of what you're doing. And then you have a choice that you can actually. Then you have a
choice. Then it's a conscious choice. And then maybe,
then it's the doing or the undoing, like you said, or the not doing.
It's all depend on that, and that nothing wrong in doing or not doing, because we are all on different levels of strength, of whatever resources we need. And then that's also pretty okay when you get a choice to choose from, and you say like, okay, I need to go with this one today, but this is a resource here I need to find. So in 3 days, I'm gonna go right way. But don't forget that you just a little bit, how you say that, you just decided today because there were no resources, and you literally were aware of what is missing.
Right.
And then when you regroup, don't forget to come back again and go right direction.
Right.
Because again, that's not doing of what we knew we should do. And then who knows where those every single decision, no matter how small or big, is taking us closer to life or away of it.
Yeah. And like when you said something earlier about when we were talking about the kennel and not the kennel, and doing this and not doing that, and trusting the dog and not trusting the dog, or the dog doesn't trust you. Like if you don't take those things personally, and you just go like, and you get curious and you step back and you go, why don't I trust my dog? Or why might my dog not trust me? Like you get insight into yourself.
Yeah. And oftentimes, this constellation as they go, oftentimes there are literally, endless possibilities of the tools that you can have as a resource. Interview is some of them. And oftentimes the only thing that we can, start using, and then we never know because we always need to start a constellation without any expectations, because that's the only way to get to the root of the problem, because you can't predict. Our mind is so small that you can't even imagine such a great thing. And oftentimes,
for everybody watching it, when you did that for me, when you did the constellation for me, I had no idea I had no idea what we were doing. I had no idea what you were going to show me. So I couldn't have any expectations. And it was like, wow, how it comes out.
Yeah.
Not having any idea what we were even doing. I didn't even know what we were doing.
And then it was, look at us like maybe 5 years later.
Yeah.
Like which kind of relationship we end up having. And thank you so much. I just wanted to acknowledge that. And then I can't wait for the next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's going to be nice and amazing and emotional, because I think we are to the point to reveal, because oftentimes, as you can see and witness from your own, even if you are perfect in knowledge, if you know what you need to do, something greater than us is preventing us from doing that.
Yeah.
And that is when we need to detangle emotional, and then let the dog be a dog, and let us find the
thing we need,
whatever we need in order to move on with the life, because it's time for that.
Right. Oof. Good stuff, Sasha. Really good. Really? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. I feel like we've made so many cool bridges too, with not just like dogs and consciousness, but humans and consciousness. And it makes just really natural sense why it all goes together.
Yeah. And if you really want to kind of learn more, dig about, you're going to, we are building the webpage with a lot of resources and content.
Oh, yeah. So there's so many good things coming. Yeah.
pureloveandharmony.com, and find, I'm sure that the ones that are looking for are going to find what they need. And then I'm available, and everyone in my team available to you and to anyone that needs some support on this journey.
Yeah, I mean, we throw out again that just like we interviewed Alex, if there's anybody else that is going through anything specific with their dog and would like some guidance, email us from on the website or on Instagram. You can DM, and then we would love to get in touch with you and see how we could help you support that.
Wonderful. Are we closing this?
I think we're good. I think we're done.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Emotional entanglement.
Emotional entanglement. I can't wait.
I can't either.
Even though these days like rushing so fast, I was when he sent today like an email, I was, oh my God, it was like yesterday.
I know. That's what I felt like too.
Can't wait to see you next Wednesday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Love you all. Love you, Shannon.
Yeah, love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.